Hi, good morning, everyone. I'll be very brief. I'm very pleased, of course, to introduce Executive Vice President Teresa Ribera, who is the Executive Vice President for Clean, Just, and Competitive Transition, with responsibility for the competition portfolio, and who has just joined the Commission from the Spanish government, where she was Vice President. And of course, she is succeeding Margaret Vestager, who many times before opened this conference. And as she used to say, there is no better place to be at this time than here. And I think this is also true today. So we will hear in a moment from the Executive Vice President what her goals are for her mandate, maybe what she will change, what she will keep. But we are very pleased that she has kept the good tradition of opening the CRA conference. So that's certainly a very good way to start her mandate. So, Commissioner, thank you very much, and the stage is yours.
Good morning. It is a great pleasure to be here. Impressive. I was said that this is a very well-organized, timely, and accurate organization. And I confirm this is the case. You organize it so well that this is my very first time that I speak to a big audience on competition. So it is my pleasure to do it with you. It is a great honor, as I said, that my first speech as a Commissioner for Competition is in this year's CRA conference. This is the event that sets the tone for the year ahead in the competition world. And this is why I think it was so important to be here. To be here at the very beginning of the mandate of this Commission, and to do it around an issue which is very important. It is always important, but it is particularly important in these times. Thinking about competitiveness is this year's theme. And I could say that it is my privilege to be mandated to lead the enforcement of competition policy. It is my duty to ensure that competitiveness matches the European dream and that the competition policy helps to this purpose, and a strong enforcement of the competition policy ensures innovation and long-lasting competitive business. The European Commission is embarking on a new journey, and like any journey, the most important thing is to know where we want to be. Because without a clear destination, it is impossible to tell if we are moving forward or we are just going round in circles. Progress only makes sense when you know that you are working toward. I could say that the destination is pretty clear. Europe wants to be a future-proof economy that is decarbonized, resilient, and creates good jobs. Europe wants to drive prosperity for its citizens, and it is competition that can help at the global stage. This is the Europe we all want to live in, a Europe that creates good jobs, opportunities for business, innovation for the societies, real benefits for citizens, that cooperates in a complex world. And competition policy is a relevant compass that helps finding the right path to our destination. Since the very beginning of the European project, competition policy has played a fundamental role in shaping the single market. It has been the driving force behind the growth of European companies and the prosperity of European society. By ensuring a level playing field, competition policy allows all companies from all member states to compete on the merits in the European Union market and foster innovation. For decades, this approach has delivered remarkable results. It has made Europe prosperous, open, and dynamic. It has allowed the startups to rise, business to scale up, and European products to compete on the global stage. It has been the compass that has guided us towards growth, innovation, and fairness. But nothing remains immutable. And in fact, the world is changing at a fast speed. New technologies are transforming markets. Artificial intelligence, big data, and digital platforms are reshaping the way we buy, we sell, we produce, we compete, also the way we live. New global competitors are emerging. Countries like China, countries like the United States are racing to lead in green technology, microchips, and digital innovation. And we also want to be there. We are also there. We face challenges that have to be solved through global cooperation. The most important of those global challenges is one I have been working for or against for a very long time: climate change. No company, no country, or even no continent can tackle this on its own. It calls for worldwide cooperation and bold action. Against this background, it is clear that we can just stick to business as usual. We need to rethink all our tools and how we use them to make sure they are fit for the new realities. And that includes also the tools of competition policy. It doesn't mean throw away the compass. On the contrary, we need to modernize it to navigate today's world and challenge. When companies have to compete, they innovate. They become more efficient. They find smarter, faster, and better ways to do business. As a result, they offer better products at lower price for consumers and business. We should keep the core principles of fairness, openness, and efficiency, but also to adapt them to meet today's market's realities. This means making sure competition rules support the European economy in the clean and digital transitions, so that we can seize those transitions as opportunities for growth and prosperity. They give us the chance to build new industries, create new jobs, and lead in global markets. Shielding our companies from competition could be a tremendous trap. It could raise prices, reduce consumers' choice, and weaken our companies in the long run. And even worse, it could undermine the European values that matter so much to us today: fairness, equal opportunities, and openness. Doing this will require making the right regulatory choices, and above it all, it will take a massive amount of investment. Not small, not incremental investments, but transformative investments, investments that can drive decarbonization, boost innovation, and build resilience across the economy. Mario Draghi pointed out these elements in his report. We face an existential challenge. It is the investments we make today that will shape the reality we live in tomorrow, and public money alone will never be enough, will never even be fair. We need significant private investment to drive change at the scale that is needed. And the question is then how we get private investors to do their bit. If we want investors to put their money, they need to feel that the market is fair, stable, and predictable. They will not risk their funds in a market where one player gets unfair subsidies or another has a monopoly. That's why the first and main incentive for private investment is confidence in a competitive market over the long run. Competing on the merits to invest, take risk, and innovate. How can we do this? First, by enforcing and modernizing our merger and antitrust policies. European merger and antitrust policies are key tools to keep markets fair. And already today, when we assess merger and antitrust cases, we take innovation, resilience, and sustainability into account. And our decisions are not only about today's market, but also tomorrow's. So we should take full account of innovation and future competition, while considering the need for resilience in certain sectors such as energy, defense, and space. Second, by controlling digital gatekeepers. we live in a world where platforms and big tech companies play a central role in our economy. They are new players, new markets. Some of these platforms have become gatekeepers controlling access to customers' data and market opportunities. This is why the very innovative Digital Markets Act is so important. It gives us the power to ensure that platforms create opportunities for startups and innovators, not shut them out. We need to make sure that Europe's digital markets stay open for new players, new ideas, and new investments. But even in the best functioning competitive markets, we can suffer from failures. Sometimes markets alone can't deliver. We know that. We know that in order to ensure the outcomes we need, we may come up with social policies or state aid that become necessary not to pick up winners and losers, but to protect the most vulnerable people and to create the right incentives for companies to invest where they could not otherwise. By putting their money where required, governments can do a lot to generate trust and to direct private investment toward strategic sectors. For example, when building an hydrogen production facility, we know that we take risky decisions in terms of investment for one company alone. But by allowing cooperation among firms or with targeted state aid, the risk is shared and private investment starts to flow. The latter is why we are introducing a new state aid framework under the Clean Industrial Deal to give all 27 member states the tools to support critical investments in clean energy, decarbonization, and resilience, the tools to address real market failures, not just serve national interest. A new balanced state aid framework will mean getting renewable energy projects up and running faster, speeding up the decarbonization of industry, and ensuring that we have the manufacturing capacity that we need for clean tech, by creating incentives that help us achieve European goals. Our successful important projects of common European interest are another powerful state aid tool. IPCIs pool resources from multiple member states and companies to invest in key areas like semiconductors, battery supply chains, and hydrogen are already a reality. Combining public and private funds to achieve something bigger than what anyone or any country or company could do alone. In other words, they achieve what lies at the core of the European project. They fit the European interest. As we face the clean and digital transitions, IPCIs will be even more crucial, so I'm committed to further improve their design. We need more cooperation, more unity, and more shared investment that delivers for all Europeans today's world. But if there is one thing defining the future of today's world, it is speed. Everything moves faster. Innovation happens faster. Markets evolve faster. Business can pivot their strategies in weeks rather than years, responding to new realities that also emerge faster. And we, as regulators, enforcers, and policymakers, must keep up. If our enforcement decisions come after the market has already shifted, then our intervention loses its impact. If businesses are left in the dark for too long, they will lose trust and investment will go elsewhere. So we have to be faster. We have to be faster in our investigations, in our decisions. But being faster doesn't mean being reckless. Speed should not come at the expense of effective and high-quality enforcement, nor of parties' rights of defense. What it does mean is being more focused, more targeted, more efficient. We need to focus our enforcement where it matters most for competition. We can't be everywhere at once, and we don't need to be. Our goal should be to target our efforts on those cases that have the biggest impact on competition. This means taking a smarter approach that will make us faster and more effective at the same time. And speed isn't just about investigation times. It is also about simplifying our processes. We need to make it easier for business and member states to understand the rules and to comply. If rules are simple and clear, Legal certainty improves and enforcement becomes easier. That's why I'm committed to streamlining our decision-making and giving companies the clarity they need to move forward with confidence. We need more simplicity and more modernity, but it's also more alignment, both within Europe and with the world outside Europe. The clean and digital transitions call for massive investments, as I said. We need to blend European, national and private funds. Our actions must be in step with Europe's broader goals. This triple mission of managing a clean, just and competitive transition can only be achieved together. And so competition policy should not operate in a vacuum. It should work in harmony with other policies that also need to deliver their part. As Enrico Letta points out in his report, we need to complete the single market. The single market came about more than 30 years ago, but 30 years on, it is still a work in progress. Many barriers remain, often because member states do not want to give them up. Take national spectrum allocation for mobile networks as just one of the examples. Our companies should be able to gain a scale and make the most of our European home market. But in sectors like energy, defense, finance, electronic communications, and digital, this is still not happening. In a fully integrated single market, companies will be better able to scale, attract investment, and compete globally. That is why deepening the single market in those industries will be top of the agenda. And we also need to align better with the global economy. We want to be an open economy. European companies cannot face unfair competition in the single market from foreign firms propped up by massive subsidies. These subsidies allow foreign firms to undercut prices, win contracts, and buy out European companies. And of course, we do not want that. We will defend the level playing field. This is why we've introduced the foreign subsidies regulation. In a foreign context, if a foreign firm tries to buy a European company or win a public contract using unfair subsidies, we need to step up and stop it. We welcome foreign investment, but it must be just. Every company, European or foreign, must play by the same rules. We like the rule of law and the international order based in rules and cooperation. And the single market is a fair, rules-based system, and we will defend it. Europe is defining its new business model, with competition as an essential part of it, and with competition policy as a compass to reach the kind of Europe we want to live in. A Europe that is competitive, green, fair, and resilient. And very honestly, I count on all of you. This very crowded room is a good example of the interest to invest in Europe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Just very briefly, a few questions. The first one is regarding modernization of EU policy, which President von der Leyen has asked you to take forward. So we work on, with different instruments, key pillars of competition policy, merger, enforcement, antitrust, state aid. Which of these instruments do you think will be more affected by the modernization?
Good morning, and thank you for the question. This is like cherry picking. Which one do you like the best? No, sorry for the joke. I will try to answer your question by commenting on a very nice conversation I had with my predecessor, my very good friend Margaret Vestager. I asked her, what could you say is the most difficult challenge ahead, and where do you recommend me to prioritize the focus, the attention of the team? And she stayed silent for a couple of minutes, and she said, well, there are two tricky issues. There are many things to do, but there are two tricky issues to pay attention to. One of them is, look what it has happened in the case of Illumina Ready. how we can protect innovation through the different tools, how we can invent, read again the tools that we are applying, and identify the main challenge or the main ways to contest to the challenge. So I think that that deals with mergers, but not only. But we need to pay attention to that. And the other thing she told me is we come from a period that has been pretty difficult, not only in Europe, in the whole world. So everybody has tried to identify how we could support our business, how we could support the citizens, how we could use the public funding, the budget, to support those that needed this help coming from the commonalities. The situation is not easy, it's never easy, but it has evolved. And we may identify a trend to become easygoing with this kind of public funding behind. So it may be important to ensure that we phase out this type of approaches and concentrate the efforts dealing with the state aid there where it is needed, but not everywhere. So this is just to kick off, then let's see.
Perfect, thank you very much. And of course there has been a lot of discussion in policy circles about national champions, European champions. Indeed. And so the question there and discussion is often whether firms should be allowed to form European champions, even if it could lead to a negative impact for European consumers. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that it is very important to stick to our mandate. The treaties do pay attention to the way we want to build the European project through competition policies and recognize the positive effect of dealing with competition as a tool to protect consumers, but also, as I said, to boost innovation. So I think that when trying to respond to this question, we need to avoid traps. I think that we cannot identify a trade-off, a simple trade-off. Okay, we have a great European champion, but then we kill competition between the different players. I think that competition helps to build champions. The main question is what is the relevant market, to what extent we can overcome these national difficulties to overcome the borders and to define broader markets, and to what extent there may be champions at a bigger scale, but not at the cost of killing the competition within Europe. That could be, I could say, a very negative shortcut with no impact in the long run. So yes, we need to support bigger companies. We need to ensure that the whole ecosystem, including the SMEs, do come along as a part of the value chain. And I think it could be good to count on bigger players at the global scale, but at the same time to ensure that the European market does not kill the competition among ourselves, allowing market power positions that could impact negatively on consumers.
All right, okay. And so you, just to finish, you've just started your mandate. So if we fast forward 5 years from now, and how would you measure the success of your mandate, or your first mandate, should I say?
I would like to end my mandate, but by allowing everybody to understand what it means being just, competitive, and clean, economy. I mean, how I can combine the different elements. I think that we have identified many targets by 2030, and 2030 is almost the end of the mandate. So we should be delivering, and at the same time we know that we could only deliver if we take our decisions ensuring that the business community can be empower and at the same time can take the ownership of this transformation. And I'm convinced that by updating the competition policy, we can provide the outcomes that we identify as real needs not so far ago, and that, unluckily and happily, the reality check shows that they are more needed than ever. So I would like to contribute to this effort together with my colleagues in the college and together with the different stakeholders coming from the academia or the business community, not only in Europe, but also in the rest of the world. I think that working, as I said, in a cooperative mood with other competition authorities all over the world will be primarily important in the time to come.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, and I will ask also the room to thank you for your presentation.